Okay, so this we're gonna talk about King from One Piece. King and his fight with Zoro, and the continuation of that fight from from chapter 1023 to chapter 1024, and all of this kind of thing. That just prediction here what maybe can happen in chapter 1024 in the continuation of their fight. So we have that confirmation of King that he belonged to he come from the Red Line, and he's belonged to a very rare race that lives on the like in the Fire Kingdom. They belong to a fire race. So they are fire people that use fire. So it's going to be very cool to see how King's hybrid form gonna look like his mixed with his Pteranodon and his fire abilities. And that is a reason, for example, why he's so feared, because he have a very rare ancient Suan devil fruit, and you combine his flying abilities with his sword skill, and then you combine it with his fire ability. All these three things together, you make it like super powerful characters that can use swords abilities. He can put fire on his sword, and he can probably breathe fire from his mouth, but at the same time he can fly. So the thing I just have to say here that his fire ability have nothing to do with his devil fruit abilities. This is two different things. His fire ability is his natural abilities that he is born with. The Pteranodon is the fruit that he have eaten to get that power and this kind of thing. So all these things combined together is the reason for that he's so powerful. Obviously because of technology too, because he have probably Queen have give him some different things too. But that makes it so that Queen, King, these two characters have a very strong abilities, because they have much more things than normal people have, that just have a devil fruit and just use hockey and different types of hockey. They have four things to them. They have the devil fruits, they have the natural, the special bonus abilities. For King is the natural, is the fire. For Queen is the cybernetic weapons. And then obviously that everybody else have, that is high ranking characters in the One Piece world, have armament and conquerors hockey. They also use that obviously. And so that's going to be really cool to see how Zoro will fight against King when King more use his flying abilities against Zoro. Right now they're fighting on the ground. So there's going to be more interesting thing when King tries to use his, like, combine his normal form with his, and then have his hybrid form, and make the hybrid condition a half Pteranodon, half fire person, like fire race, in combination and so on with their abilities. And yeah, I think this really cool to see that fight and really see what really happened, and all of this kind of ability. For right now in One Piece is more like we know that is the end game is coming for Wano, and they are really continue. They really bring up all the fighters that are left. We know that all of the Toporopos are out. They are not longer in the ring. They are knocked out. So now we only have the three calamities, and we have the two emperors, Big Mom and Kaido. That still going. They are the final opponents. These characters. So this is going to be very, and obviously we have uh, like sides character, like we have Spero as one of the antagonists, and we have Basil Hawking and this kind of. But the main big ones, the main big four one are the calamities and the two emperors. Is the big ones, and that everybody look forward to see continuation of the fight. Obviously, Nakamamushi the big cat. Nakamanushi right now fighting against Sparrow, and the dog. I never learned his name. I'm sorry for that, but the dog that the, the dog of the day that was a friend with Nakamanushi on the Mink Island. I know he with the rapier sword. He right now fighting against Jack the Drought. I think I think he have the toughest opponent of these two characters, Nakamamushi. So he is the toughest opponent. So it's going to be really, probably for me personally, I have to be honest. The, the fight I most look for, the hybrid form I look most forward to see is Jack the Drought. It's my favorite hybrid. I really want to see his hybrid form, and he's because he's a mammoth, and he's some kind of a Mongolian Viking mammoth style of his character. It's gonna be really cool to see how his hybrid form gonna look like a big guy with like a big elephant head and like two curved sword, like almost like inspiration of like the Dacian Falks. And it's gonna be really cool to see. So yeah, I think right now, obviously, One Piece has always been a very, very interesting adventure story. And I can say like this: in modern terms of One Piece, and obviously you can disagree with me. Uh, I don't have to say it. Everybody have the right to disagree. But in modern terms, One Piece is very similar in some sense, and difference in other sense, like Lord of the Ring. And the only, like you have to Lord of the Ring also big adventure. And they have different story. They have the side story. They have before Lord of the Ring we have Hobbit, and before Hobbit we have like the ancient, Silmarillion, and so on and so on. Different stories. And One Piece is like that. One Piece have different arcs that they go to a place and they are on that place in some chapters, and then but the main story of the One Piece, they should find the One Piece is the main objective, the main mission of the whole story. Um, so that is similar with Lord of the Rings. That Lord of the Rings have a big world that happen big things. You have dragons, you have elves, you have dwarf, you have human, you have orcs, you have Orokai, you have Balrogs, you have different types of elf, you have different types of dwarf, you have hobbits and all these kind of things. That is, you have a big world with lots of different people. That is the same with One Piece. You also have a big world with different kinds of people, like fish people, fire people, um, Shandorians, and so on and so on and so on. So this is what I mean when I say that One Piece is like Lord of the Ring in the modern world, uh, with the modern audience. Like people like today, like me, we are grown up with One Piece. Like for similar to people like very long time ago was grown up to the Lord of the Rings books. Um, so that is very cool that we still today have we have still books today that we like mangas that is so in so high detail of adventure, and it's few books that can compare with Lord of the Ring, like in the adventure scale. But I have to say that One Piece probably even is have more. I have a bigger world than Lord of the Ring. Probably have to say that the One Piece is probably bigger, um, and this kind of thing. But it's just 1% bigger. It's not like Lord of the Ring is number 2 in the world building, and One Piece is number 1, and Game of Thrones we're not even gonna talk about because it's not even on the same scale as these two titans. So yeah, I think it's gonna be very cool, like to see character. For example, Nakamamushi's fight with Sparrow. What kind of ability will Sparrow use? More armament hockey with his candy ability, and all of these kind of things. So we're gonna very interesting to see how like because Jack against the dog and Nakamanushi, the big cat against Sparrow. All of these characters right now, both of these characters, dog and cat, have their Sulan form. So it's going to be very interesting to see how Sparrow can handle Nakamomushi and this kind of thing. So that I think that is interesting in this fight. The fight I least look forward to, and I think least interesting for me. Obviously, what I say right now is my personal opinion. The fight I'm least interesting about is have to be probably Basil Hawkins fight with Kid. With Killer is my least favorite of them all. I have to say the fight, the top fight is for me absolutely is number one is King, and number two is Queen, and number three have to be Jack, and number four is Nakamanushi against Sparrow, and so on. And the least one is absolutely is absolutely Basil Hawking. It's probably the least favorite character in One Piece for me is Basil Hawking. I don't know. I don't like his Devil Fruit ability with his. It's something with this. It's just boring. It's extremely boring character. Some people, I know, many people really like Basil Hawkins, but Basil Hawkins are for me a very boring character. I don't like anything about him. He's boring designed. He's just boring. That is just my opinion. I just think he's boring. Um, and this kind of thing. Obviously, um, the most in the design wise of the characters of the old stars is for me personally is Queen. Absolutely, Queen probably have the best design of the old stars. Um, yeah, I think Queen is something like a mixture between like the Street Fighter from Street Fighter 4 Ultimate and Obelix. It's something mixture between like these two, design wise. Um, yeah, and obviously the real chapter review will come out on Friday. Then we'll do the real talk about the review. So this is just speculation what will happen and talks and prediction, all this kind of thing. It's nothing is we don't know what will really happen. Maybe we're just gonna see a fight between Kaido and Momonosuke. For right now, obviously Momonosuke one of his allies have helped him grow quicker, so he's now 28 instead of 12 year. He's 28. So he's much older, and because of that, his dragon form is bigger. So have a stronger dragon form because of his age, and have grown up, and all of this kind of thing. For me personally, I have to be honest. For me personally, I don't really like that we're gonna have two dragons on the scene. I think this bit takes away from this the interesting thing with the dragon if you have two dragons, specifically if the dragon is just a copy of Kaido's dragon, but it's a bit different when it's still a copy, and I don't like copies. For me, copy is very boring, and I want something. I really think that they should do something different with Momonosuke, give him some other kinds of abilities that he can fight against Kaido's dragon. Because I think it takes away from the interesting thing. It takes away from the thrill of it when you have, because Kaido. The reason why Kaido was so interesting because he was the only Eastern dragon on the scene, and that was what made it so interesting with him. But now we have two dragons, and specifically that dragon specifically with that dragon exactly as a copy of Kaido. It's a failed experiment of Kaido's original blue dragon. It's like it's bit takes away from the interesting thing, and and so on. Yeah, and I think, well, obviously we have so many other interesting fights, so that is okay. We have obviously king and queen, queen against Sanji, king against Zoro. So we have all of, and Jack against the dog, Spero against Nakama Mushi. So all of this character is, so that is okay. So if some, we cannot have perfect all around. Some fights is more interesting than other fights. But Basil Hawkins is the most boring character of them all. Absolutely, I don't find anything interesting about him. I'm sorry, I have to say that. For me, when I see Basil Hawkins, it's like a cloud over the sun. It's so boring. It's some, I don't know, some character you really love in a story. Some character you think, okay, I don't really care. But some character you cannot stand because they are so boring. They have something with their design, their clothing design, their uh, their their ability design, all this kind of thing. This Hawking is a character that is extremely boring, and obviously I say it again, that is my own personal opinion. What you think is what you think. What I think is what I think. If you like Basil Hawking, good for you. But for me, no. He's an extremely boring character. But that do not mean that Basil Hawking is weak. Basil Hawking is extremely dangerous and extremely strong. Um, but he's just super boring. It's like super boring character. I don't know. It's something with him like that makes me just want to switch to the next page. Um, yeah, and so this was just my talk about One Piece and my speculation for chapter 1024. And I really look forward for it. I really look forward to that chapter. Um, yeah, and that is everything I really want to say. And I hope the next the chapter will be out on Friday. Obviously, that is a scam. That is not the official dubbed English translation, but it's just, yeah. But it's good enough. You understand, because the original one was in Japanese, and that will be out today, sometime today. And I cannot read Japanese, so I cannot do a review on it, because I can look at pictures, but you have to read One Piece. You have to read to understand. Even if One Piece is a picture book, you still have to read, because if you just look at a picture, you don't gonna hear about the UC information, like for example, like kings, what race king belonged to, and so on and so on, and this kind of UC information. Yeah, and so I can say like this: right now I do reviews for One Piece, the manga, not the anime, and I do reviews for Reckoning and Ragnarok, the manga and the animation. But it's gonna be lesser reviews for Reckoning and Ragnarok, because it's lesser. They release very fewer chapter for each month. So we're gonna have to wait very long. So it's more obviously going to be more reviews, talks, and so on for One Piece, because it's quicker information between One Piece than in comparison to Reckoning of Ragnarok. So this, we have much more information, obviously, about it, and so on. Yeah, and that is everything I really want. That is everything I really want to say about that topic.